Shout out J.E. Moneybags. I rock in the building. What's poppin', boy? All time 978 salute. Dave Rodriguez, what's poppin'? Leo Rivera, Dimelo, Big Lex. Chico Low, HFC 3000, Tipsy Hustle. London in the building. Tsunami Sang. That's on 12. William Silver, what's poppin', boy? I got that. King Manolo. No life, what's poppin', boy? DOE Stretch Money, what up? And Doc Rap. Good vibe, what up? ET, salute. Ray Saffron. Jay Breezy, Five Borough, what's poppin'? Angel Perez, Tsunami Sang, Mr. Cool Smoke. That's a fact that Ray Lake Rome, that's a fact. Al Tyree Johnson, salute. George Jorge Ruiz, Angel Perez. Ladybug, what's up, man? Eugene Mickens, what's poppin'? Tsunami Sang, Mr. Cool. Ray Saver, DC 1718. Hondo Walsh, what's poppin'? Sphinx. 973, Newark in the building. Wap City, that's a fact. 183rd Bloods, what's poppin'? St. Dico, DC in the building. Mr. Cleveland, Ohio, salute. William Silver for that. King Manolo 01, salute. Omicron, what's poppin'? What up? Pistol Gang, salute, my bro. Mr. Gelato, salute. Crack 173, Gelato 978. Little Dave BK, what's poppin', salute. Appreciate you, bro. Mel McCargo, salute. James A, the Rockets in the building. Shout out Rochester, that's a fact, we in here. What's poppin', everybody? Yeah, more or less, you know what I'm saying? Been an interesting week so far. But you know, I ain't gonna change my contact on my page for the nonsense, you know what I'm saying? So what I'm gonna do is my topic today is called the art of leadership. You know, a lot of people think that leadership is a quality that you're born with. sometimes it may be the case of adaptability, but leadership actually comes from your experiences on the field, your ways of thinking on the field, and by the way, shout out all my wrenches. Um, if you see any trolls come up in here, whop them right up out of here. By the way, the minute they say anything dumb, out. You know what I'm saying? But usually in my chat, I don't be having that much like that. You know what I'm saying? But just in case, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody in the chat. And salute, Miss Gill, I see you. I appreciate everybody in the chat. I appreciate my wrenches. You know what I'm saying? We're not changing our content over here. So today, the art of leadership. The reason I'm talking about the art of leadership is because it's not only the leader and his actions, but it's also the soldiers and how they follow. For example, I remember reading on this dude called Joseph Stalin. For those who don't know about Joseph Stalin, I mean, I know, okay. So Joseph Vissarionovich Stalin was a Georgian revolutionary and Soviet politician who led the Soviet Union from the mid-1920s until 1953 as the General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and Premier of the Soviet Union. Now, he ain't the only leader I'm going to talk about, but he's the first one I'm going to talk about, which, by the way, he's on the top 5 of the most cruelest leaders that has ever existed. He actually saying, yeah, he's up there with Adolf Hitler, Vladimir Lenin, Benito Mussolini, and Idi Amin. Now, the reason I'm talking about leadership is because a lot of people think they have leadership qualities. And what happens is that when you're a soldier and you come in amongst the ranks, you feel that you got to follow the leader in order for you to get up there one day later on. But it's a chess game. And I'm going to tell you how the chess game goes. So first, I'm going to break down the leader itself. So Joseph Stalin, he came in after Trotsky. Trotsky was before him, right? Trotsky was before him, and after Trotsky went out of office, Joseph Stalin came in. So when Joseph Stalin came in, he had this thing where he wanted total control. So the leadership's positions that Trotsky had left behind, he dubbed them all. He dubbed all the leadership positions. Everybody that was a general, that was a corporal, whatever they was, he stripped all of them. He did a purge. He stripped all of them of their titles, and he killed most of them. He killed most of them. That's a fact. So when he came into office, he says, I'm here now. And all you guys that got positions in here, I'm taking you to the back and I'm blowing your head off. Now, the reason he did that was because he wanted dominant control. You know what I'm saying? He wanted total control. He didn't want to have potential of any type of opposition. So he killed all the generals. Now, when he rebuilt his army, he went out to the fields and he got peasants. And he gave those peasants positions. He made them generals. If I'm correct, I think out of the whole cabinet that Trotsky had, he only kept 2 generals. That's it. Everybody else, he killed them because he wanted total control. He wanted things to be his way. He didn't want nobody to have a voice because their voice meant opposition, and he couldn't have that in his internal infrastructure. So he aired them out, kept 2. Yeah, I'm going to get to Mussolini and all of them. Now, so he got the peasants out the field that didn't have military experience. But he felt that if you could run a farm and you could run a field of farmers, that's leadership quality. So he was snatching them dudes up, throw them in uniform, and he had them leading. You see what I'm saying? And now, when a leader does that, it's for 2 reasons. It's because he himself is insecure about himself and his leadership skills, but also because he wants security. Because there's always someone trying to be up top. There's always someone trying to be at the top of the arc. And they'll do whatever they got to do to be up there. Whatever they got to do to be up there, they're going to do it. So he took them to war. And he got most of them killed. But he kept going and kept snatching people up. So the way it was like he was fluctuating bodies. You see what I'm saying? SR The Rock, what's popping, boy? What's rocking? You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times a leader, you got to watch who the leader is and what is their purpose. Because they got some type of purpose. And a lot of times it's their own. It don't got nothing to do with the mass. It has to do with their own agenda and their own goal. And this is why everybody and anybody cannot be a leader. Because of what they do. Right? Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was a German politician and leader of the Nazi Party. He rose to power as the Chancellor of Germany in 1933, as Führer in 1934. During his dictatorship from 1933 to 1945, he initiated World War II in Europe by invading Poland on the 1st of September 1939. He initiated that war because he wanted to conquer. He was a leader. Well, at least that's the way he came in as. And he led them to believe that he is their leader. And the way he did it was he had his little men, and whoever looked like they was defiant, he bodied them in front of everybody. Make an example. More lives got wasted in that. Next thing you know, he went against the Jews, and he was slaughtering them, massacring them, doing the Jews dirty. Salute, Kev. So he was doing them dirty. He initiated that war. There was no war before that. There may have been disagreement, but there was no war. You see what I'm saying? Facts. Iraq 152, too many chiefs, not enough Indians. So now he took his soldiers, they went and they called mass murders. They was piling up bodies like it was nothing. But they was oppressing. They oppressed the Jews. See what I'm saying? They oppressed them. He was the leader. He gave them a cause. That was his, though. It wasn't a cause that was for the people. It was his cause. If we go up to date, because I'm gonna go back because there's two more I gotta mention. But if we go up to date, it's the same thing that happened with Saddam Hussein. We spoke about that before. Saddam Hussein was also a dictator. He was a leader. But see, there's a difference between a leader and a dictator. A dictator has what's called leadership form, but his agenda is personal. You know what I'm saying? And that was personal leadership. Now, then you have leadership. That's where they invented the word democracy, where it's a cause for the people, where the people have a voice. You know what I'm saying? So that's the difference. You got a dictator and you got a leader. You know what I'm saying? Rick James, that's a fact. A dictator rules with an iron fist. So a lot of times in those days, you had to be, it was physical. It was more of a physical way to control. Because at the end of the day, salute Earl Wooten 51. Earl Wooten 51. Wildcat salute, bro. Keep dropping them jewels. Do you know a dude by the name of Raleigh? FAD 120 Green Mountain. That name sounds familiar. And so does Earl Wooten 51. Now the reason I'm talking about this because I believe that this is something necessary for all the young people that's out there. It's necessary. Why I say it's necessary is because it is so easy to misguide the youth. When you claim you're a leader, but you're leading them astray for your own cause. You know what I'm saying? You're leading them astray for your own cause. You're not leading them for a cause that's a cause of the people. You're leading them for a cause that's a cause of you. So you got to look at the type of leadership that you're under. I remember when I was coming up in the ranks, I used to see all the time dudes that wanted to be leaders so bad that they practice the aura, they practice the verbal, they practice the mind because they wanted to be a leader so bad. And it's not because their cause is a common cause, it's because their cause is their cause. So a lot of times, what happens to the soldiers? The soldiers are just bodies without worth. That's all the soldiers are. Just bodies with no worth. So while you sending them to oppress someone else, you are also oppressing them. And that's something that the youth always should think about. A lot of people don't look at their leader and see what is the goal of their leader. Leaders that told, yo, you got to go over there and put that work in. Salute Omar Green with the $5 drive. Salute, bro. Appreciate you, bro. That Sheena girl, salute. Junior's towing up in here, salute. You know what I'm saying? So when you have a leader in front of you, you got to scrutinize your leader to see what is his cause. This is why, for example, when it comes to like our history, when I talk about our history, everybody knows I'm talking about, good looking S. Dot. Yeah, man, I don't got nothing. I'm broke, you know? I live in a tree house, you heard? But that's good, you heard? But I ain't gonna be up here with that. But I appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta look at what the leader is doing. What is he doing? Kev can tell you we ran into so many dudes that wanted to be leaders so bad, but they weren't leaders. Sincere Jones, appreciate you, bro. They weren't leaders. What they were was opportunities. They saw opportunity in the ignorance of those who want to be led, and they saw that they could lead them astray in order to accomplish their own personal goal. I seen that in the pen, and I seen that out here too. Dudes that want to be leaders so bad that they'll just make quotes and all kinds of theatrics. Like, for example, I saw a video with a dude. He walked into a laundromat, and when he walked into a laundromat, some dude told him about tucking his rag in, and he looked at the dude like, and he tucked his rag in. Appreciate you, Junior's Towing. Salute Junior's Towing in the building. Appreciate you. Big up. Keep doing your thing, bro. I got you, Junior. And these leaders, what they do is they use those bodies to accomplish their goal. And even if they don't accomplish their goal, they made a valiant effort, but it cost other people their lives. For example, a person can pay a hitman, and the hitman's job is to do what he does, take a hit. So he can say, yo, I'll give you the bread. Just go do the hit. I got you when you come back. He goes do the hit, but when he comes back, son ain't got all the money. And he's telling him like, yo, I got you. Don't worry about it. I got you. At the end of the day, son already put the work in. But you ain't got all the money? Hold up. You ain't got all the bread? But then there's some people that they get caught up in the hype and they don't understand that their leader was never a leader. Wasn't a leader. Never was. You see, back in the days, about 9-8, for example, when they came out with when they were saying that OG Mac was a rat. Bloody Luciano Joe Rivera. Salute, bro. Salute. LES in the building. Shout out LES. Shout out my LES bros, man. I love y'all, you heard? Shout out Cisco, LES. Wildlife. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Dead Arm, LES. So when that thing happened with I see that when that happened with OG Mac, you had dudes that was already jumping on that because now they're looking at the throne, the seat. If we dethrone him, then now I could be that dude. Because dudes always look beyond what they're made of. Now what happens? Well, first when that happened, when dudes was talking about they had paperwork on them, they didn't have it. But they were so anxious. They were so anxious to just start the controversy and be the person to say that he's no good and this and that and the third. So that then later they can say, I dethroned him. I dethroned him, so I should be king. That's when you see That a person is what? Power hungry. Same way Adolf Hitler turned power hungry, and then he got overly powered. Because all those people that died in vain. They were oppressing. And at the end, their leader went down in shame. He lost the war, he lost the battle, and he lost his goal. Because now everybody that came afterwards, like, nah, I ain't messing with this dude. This dude is crazy. You see what I'm saying? So you got to look at what the leader is trying to accomplish by trying to be up somewhere where he don't belong. This is why there's so much inconsistencies with history, even our history. There's so much inconsistencies because nobody would like to say the truth because it hurts their agenda. It hurts their agenda. So they gotta have a gimmick. Like I said, back then it was physical. Mussolini, all of them. As a matter of fact, Benito Amilcare Andrea Mussolini was an Italian politician and journalist who was the leader of the National Fascist Party. He ruled Italy as a prime minister from 1922 to 1943. He constitutionally led the country until 1925 when he dropped the pretense of democracy and established a dictatorship. So what that's saying is that he went by the rules until he saw a way to break the rules and rewrite the rules. Which means what? He used his power, and his agenda was to rewrite history so that the history could be looked at from what he did on, like a revolution. This is why I say, if you're a young brother out there, you're coming up, you're following a cause, you got to watch those that say they're your leader. You got to scrutinize them. You got to make sure that they really are your leader. This is why there's lineups. That's why there's lineups. That's why there's history. What happens is that as it goes further on and people get older and the ideology starts to be faded, it leaves room for recreation. And what dudes do is they see the ignorance in other individuals and they try to recreate it using them. So that's what happens to a lot of youths. They get used. I done seen it happen. In history, is a historical thing. It's been happening in history where a youth gets misled in order to accomplish someone else's goal. But then you have what's called strategists. What do strategists do? Strategists, what they try to do is strategically understand the situation and then make a move from within without having to do much. Take advantage of the situation. That's what they do. They go and they try to take advantage of the situation because what they got their own goal. When you look at Power, for example, shout out to 50 Cent. I gotta give him his props on that. When he wrote Power, he made so many different agendas. that you will have to follow each individual to know how their agenda ties with the next person's. At times they group up agenda and then they still split because they all have their personal agendas. Now, in between, people die. And they live until they figure out another way to accomplish that agenda. You know, some people nowadays you ain't got to do it that way. Nowadays, if you got money, you can buy yourself an army. Put them on the payroll. Because the money that you get is a physical thing. Physical piece of paper that fluctuates. It's residual. So when I had this person, let's say this is 20 grand. I had this person, not even 10 grand. Say this is 10 grand because some dudes is cheap. 10 grand. Yeah. He goes, tries to do something. He gets smirked. My mentality is like, damn, now I got to make the 10 grand again. I can do it. That body meant nothing. That body meant nothing at all. You see what I'm saying? So this is why if you're coming up in the ranks, if you're a young brother and you see that someone is not trying to build your mind, it's because they don't want you to be smarter than them. They need to keep you down so they can be able to control you. Because if they know you're smart, then you're a threat to them. That's the reason why Joseph Stalin went and killed all the generals from Trotsky's cabinet. Because he ain't know if he could control them. Because they was there before him. So this is why you always got to be aware of the things, the people's actions, the things people say, the things people do. You got to be aware of all those things. Let me get the copy thing. Yeah. You got to be aware of all these things because if you're a soldier coming up in the ranks, you got to make sure. You got to make sure that you're not a body. You got to make sure that you're part of a goal that doesn't involve just that person, but you also, and also those that's with you to accomplish that goal. Because you know what happens? You know what happens? When the person accomplishes their goal, and that goal is accomplished, and you get fly, or you say something, or you have an opinion, you know what happens, right? They get rid of you now. So you was only a body. So you can't let no one lead you astray for their own personal goal. Because at the end of the day, if you did something for this person, then later on you find out that person was lying and sent you on a wild goose chase, that man took your life before the other person did. Because in order, when you're in the field and you're a soldier, you on battle mode, but you're also learning how to survive. As you learn how to survive, your coping mechanism becomes so strong that now your brain is able to adapt and learn. When your brain is able to adapt and learn, that's what gives you the leadership qualities so that when you get up in the ranks, your leadership is worth something. Because what happens is nowadays, I see it all the time and I hear it all the time. Dudes lie like hell. Yo, I put mad work in. Yo, I did this. Yo, I did that. No, they did not. Having a fight over here, hitting somebody with a mop ring over here, That doesn't mean you was putting in work. That sounds like you was more on the defense to me. It doesn't look like you was offensive. Because if you was offensive, then everybody will know about your offensive struggle. Your offensive. So, for example, Hercules was known for what? Being a barbaric person that fought barbaric, savages people. And he beat them. But that's what he's known for, because he used to come back with the head like this. Look, it's over for him. Genghis Khan used to do the same thing. Genghis Khan had one of the biggest armies of Mongols. And he was on get down and lay down time. Because if I come through your village and you're not trying to get down with me, you out of here. So you always got to remember, and you got to keep focused and say to yourself, like, is this person a leader? Or is this person trying to lead me astray? Is the things this person's saying accurate? Or am I intrigued by what this person is saying, but I'm not aware that he's lying? See, facts. Jason Boulder, that's a fact. You got to remember something. Even your silence speaks. Because a lot of times you ain't got to say nothing. If you notice, on all the podcasts, all the individuals, all the parties always said, yo, Wildcat, yeah, Wildcat put that work in. Yo, Wildcat this, Wildcat that. I never had to come up here and say anything. I didn't have to. What I did was broke down what they were saying so you could understand how I cope with that situation. But I never was on like, yeah, I blew up 20 dudes and I did this and that and the third, and I didn't do that. I'm not going to say something that I didn't do. Because at the end of the day, it might be intriguing, but there are those on the side that are aware that what I'm saying is not true. And what's going to happen is it's going to come and bite me in the behind. You see what I'm saying? So you got to watch the leaders, the persons that are they're so egotistic and so egomaniac that they just want to lead and they want to be the man so bad. They want to be this so bad. And then you're under him and you're like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's the man right there. That's the man right there. He's leading you astray. He's setting you up for failure. This is why you got people like me. You got people like Kev. You got people like Wise Brim, Jay Breezy, Five Borough, Iraq. There's a lot of people that they were there. There's a lot of people that were there. Bad Vibes, that's a fact. Bad Vibes, shout out Bad Vibes. They were there. They saw. So when the person says, yo, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that, that's all a lie. They didn't do that. But they're so hungry to be some type of a leader. They're so hungry to have everybody look up to them that they play it to a T. They play it to a T. Jaron McCaskill, he said, dudes be lying on the work they put in. They just want a sucker on their side. Yeah, it's a fact. That's a fact. That's what they want. They want people to look at them a certain way. Because if they tell the truth, they're not gonna they're gonna scrutinize them more. You know, when I come up here and I say to people, listen, I've been through all that I've been through. I've been through hell and back. But look, I've been through hell and back. But there ain't no scars on my face. And I'm not shooting at nobody. I'm just saying there's no scars on my face. You know why? Because I've remained offensive until there was no need to be offensive anymore. I've remained offensive. Some people ain't never boof a gun. And what I mean by boof a gun, meaning you got your razor and you gotta hide it. Ooh, S 718. Bro, my mother always told me what don't come out in the rinse comes out in the wash. It's a fact. These are things that you know that people have to be aware of, especially if you're a youth. Because this is more towards the youth. You know what I'm saying? This is more towards the youth. You got to be able to not be misled. You got to be able to see. Because to me, if a person keeps lying, they have an agenda for why they consistently lying. They have an agenda. A leader don't gotta lie. A leader's gonna say, listen, this is how it was. I went through this struggle, but now that I'm a leader, I know how to overcome that struggle. So I'm not gonna let you go through what I went through. I have a better solution. A leader's not gonna be, well, you know, I don't like how stuff is going on. Yo, man, go take care of that. That's not a leader. That's not a leader. That doesn't show any leadership qualities. And this is the reason why there's lineups. This is the reason why if you don't see someone in the lineup, if you don't see their name there, because they was never there. Shout out Powerful. G-Shine Powerful. Shout out G-Shine Powerful. Top Shine. That's the top Shine right there. And before him, Shaquell. Shout out Shaquell. Hope you get better. That's a shine right there. These are people that you don't see. That's a fact. That's a fact. Scar Valentine, rest in peace. That's what these people, they're not even saying anything right now. You think they don't know what's happening? They know what's happening, but they're not saying nothing. Facts, Rick James. This is how Treyway fell. Yeah. Too many people want to be leaders because people don't like the position that they're in, and they want to be more than what their position calls for. And in their quest for their position to be established, they gotta fool the masses. They gotta brainwash the masses. They gotta tell the masses things that's not true, that's not solidified. And then when they get nervous, they start to add other people into the equation. Facts. Prayers for Quell, man. It's a fact. See, these are all the things. Shout out Black Omako as a fact. You see the names that's popping up on here? These people are quiet. Because at the end of the day, sometimes you got to move in silence in the things that you do, man. If you start getting too loud with it, then there's a reason why you broadcasting it. There's a reason for that. There's no way you're going to tell me that if you broadcast something, you don't have an agenda for the reason why you broadcasting it. There is an agenda. And that's what you got to be careful. You got to be careful that you don't fall victim to someone else's agenda. That they don't have the legitimate path to try to accomplish. They don't have the legitimate, they don't have the, some people don't have the green light. Yo, when I was locked up, I saw mad dudes that used to go and used to say, yo, I'm the top this, I'm the top that. And I used to sit back and watch these dudes like, yeah, this dude, he want to be a leader so bad. Look at him. He was probably one of those dudes that was envious of his own leader. And now that his own leader is not around and really can't make decisions and scrutinize his actions, now is where he takes advantage because the eyes around him are ignorant. The eyes around him don't see what he's trying to do. So they're going to walk blindly and crash with him later on when he goes down. That's what happened to Hitler. That's what happened to Mussolini. That's what happened to all of them. When they went down, all their peoples went down with them. They gave them a cause. They gave them a reason. They gave them a mission. But it didn't secure them accomplishment. They didn't secure them success. They didn't secure them their life. They put their life on the line. Because the opposition ain't going to care about what you send their way. Whatever you send their way and it's an op, goes down. Simple as that. It doesn't matter if you know that the person's being led astray and the leader put them up to do that. The person that comes gets put down immediately without no remorse. Jay Lambo, he's all the time, bro. These are things that you got to be careful. Because a lot of people, when they question leadership, their soldiers ain't nothing but sacrificial lambs towards their agenda. They sacrificial lambs towards their agenda. And if you don't watch them, they're going to lead you astray right to your demise. And they're going to be sitting back. Everything good. Imagine you call the leader out. And I think I spoke about this the other day. Imagine you call the leader out. And the leader don't want no static. But he sends his soldiers at you. Think about that. What kind of leader is that? If the leader don't want no static with you, and you call the leader out, he don't want no static, but yet he's telling his soldiers, yo, he's a op. So your soldiers got to do the work that you scared to do. So your soldiers got to do the stuff that you scared to do. And then when they get laid down, you're going to be sitting somewhere talking about, okay, I got to send someone else now. And your whole agenda was your agenda. It wasn't a common agenda. It was your agenda. Plus, you're a coward. You're a coward if you need troops listen, I got mad calls today. Mad calls. Man, I got hit up mad times. And all I kept saying today is like, yo, stand down. All I kept saying today is now we're not gonna get into that. Don't worry about it. Because I'm not gonna be the cause of someone either getting in trouble and losing their freedom or getting it. Look, I'm not gonna start a warfare when I'm the type of individual that will go right at the leader and spare the troops. You know, I was telling Kev the other day when I was reading the 48 Laws of Power, right? There was a story in there. In the 48 Laws, for those who don't know, the 48 Laws of Power is written by Robert Greene, if I'm correct. Right? Just want to make sure I'm correct. Yeah. Yep. Robert Greene. So there was a story. There was this general that was out in the field and he had a little team with him. So they ran around. They was running into the villages and they was killing their strongest out the village, and the rest they was either raping the women, and they was the other young ones that was using them to raise them to be their soldiers. So they will obliterate villages basically. They go in there with their team and kill whoever it was their toughest out of there, murk them, rape the women, take the kids, and make them slaves, and then turn them into soldiers later. So this barbarian dude, he was and his team, they was doing that. They was running into villages, killing the people. You know, he was starting to get big. And then he bumped into an emperor called Haile Selassie. So Haile Selassie, he had his village, and he lived in a castle. So one day the barbarian goes to Haile Selassie and he says, he looked at Haile Selassie, he said, yo, bro, I'm coming for your village, you heard? Haile Selassie looks at him and says, hold on. You coming for my village? Why you want to kill my people? Maybe I could be an asset towards you. The barbarian says, I don't need an asset. I create assets. Me and my men go into the village. We kill the strongest that they have, and everybody else joins our team. That's very simple. Haile Selassie was known to have money. He was rich. He had gold. So Haile Selassie said, how about this? I'll give you enough gold to feed you and your peoples. And we'll have a sit down in my castle. And we'll negotiate we'll negotiate what we do. So you come to the castle with your best men, and I'll be here with my best men, and maybe you could spare me at least my castle or something else. So the barbarian dude was like, oh, this dude think he's all right. He ain't got nobody that can match my men. So I'm going to go with my best men to his castle. We're going to eat and talk. And then my men's going to slaughter his best men because they're right there. And I'm going to take over like I do everybody else. So he goes. They go into the castle. And they're eating and drinking, of course. So they're eating and drinking. And after they finish eating, the barbarian dude says, yo, man, listen, I changed my mind. I don't want to negotiate anything. I think right now you need to tell those men to put their weapons on the floor and respect the jukes. Haile Selassie gets up and says, respect the jukes? Haile Selassie says, respect the jukes? Haile Selassie said, listen, if I were you, I will put your weapon down and tell your men to put their weapons down. He says, listen, I got a team of over 1,000 men. What do you have? He says, I got a team that just murdered your team while you were sitting in here drinking and eating with me. You don't have no team no more. Because while you were sitting in here eating and drinking with me, thinking you're going to overtake my throne, my best men are not these men that are here. My best men just finished killing your whole village and just took all of the slaves that you had. Now they're my slaves. So the only thing you got left for your regime is you and these men that's right here. They're your best men, aren't they? And he got up, he said, man, you crazy. The soldier came in. Another soldier came in. And they brought the heads of some of their soldiers in. And then he looked and he was like, oh, this dude outsmarted me. So Haile Selassie said, now your men are my soldiers and you're my slave. But because of what you've done, I'm going to let you die in honor. I'm going to let you walk out and jump into the river. He outsmarted him. Because he was so stuck in himself. He was so stuck in his barbaric ways. He was so stuck in thinking that he had it all on the smash. So basically what happened was, when you get too big-headed and you think that you got everything mapped, you always got to respect your opponent, because he might have a move that you ain't never even thought of. You can always be outsmarted when you think that you got it all. You will always expose your weakness when you think that you know everything. That was the moral of that story. The moral of that story was that leader, he got so big and he got so powerful that he forgot that sometimes it ain't about brute and brawn. Sometimes it's about strategy. He got outsmarted and he lost his life. This is why I say to the youth out there, you got to watch who your leader is, man. You got to watch who's saying that they're your leader and what is the reason why they want you to do certain things. Is that leader a common cause, or is that leader his cause? Is that mission a mission that goes towards the goals and the regs of that cause, or is that mission towards that person's personal goal? That's fact. GT Tour 956, his cause. Rick James says, This dude always talk about his money and a bunch of goofy stuff, but when them Migos was on, them jewels and money didn't save him. Wildcat did. Yeah, I see it. But that's the reason why I said I named this the art of leadership. Because everyone in the chat, everyone in the world has the potential to be a leader. Don't never take yourself away from the ability to lead. But you want to take yourself away of the ability to be led astray. That's what you want to do. You want to be the person that is not going to be led astray. Shout out J.E. Moneybags. I appreciate you, bro. J.E. Moneybags official, too. He be knowing his stuff. You know what I'm saying? You got to watch who these people are. You got to watch what they trying to accomplish. Why do they need you to accomplish it? And where it's going to go in the future, and what part are you going to play after that accomplished in the future? All these things you need to know before you jump out the window and let somebody lead you astray, bro. Because a leader, it's not everybody. A leader's not everybody. A leader is not a person that demonstrates that he wants to be a leader bad. A leader is a person that goes on doing what he does. And people say, yo, that's a leader. Not the person that goes, I'm the leader. I'm telling you, I'm the leader. I'm telling you this. If you don't believe I'm the leader, then you don't know nothing. And blah, 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 blah. That's not a leader. That's an opportunist. So you got to watch and differentiate the difference between a leader and an opportunist. Since I came home, I've seen a lot of that. I've seen people try to rewrite history. I don't see people try to keep certain parts of history out that doesn't look good in their favor so that they can be looked at as something that they not. I done seen a lot of that. You know, one thing I respect about Kev, he ain't even on that type of time. Not even. Nuke ain't on that type of time. When I was with Tut, me and Tut, let me tell you something about King Tut. Me and King Tut, not only were we neighbors in the house, but we used to go to the yard, go everywhere together. And Tut is older than me. Always been old. When I first met Tut, I was only 15 years old. He always been the older dude. He was older than me. And I always followed him. But he never tried to lead me astray. Not one time, bro. He wasn't on that type of time. What he did was he spread knowledge with me. And then me and him used to kick it on the regular. He has leadership qualities, but he doesn't promote it. He doesn't promote that. Leaders don't promote their leadership by saying that you either got to accept me or you against me. Leaders don't do that because leaders need to generate the mass. And when they generate the mass, it has to be on equal terms. No big me, little you. Facts, Kev. There's none of that. Like, even myself, when I came home, I was in constant contact with Magoo, and Magoo came to me with certain things, and I was like, all right, man, I got you. But he came to me with it. I ain't ask him. He came to me. And he was like, "Yo, Cat, you the last of a dying breed." I was like, shh. You know what, Goose? Sometimes I don't want that responsibility of that stuff. I don't, but I understand what's going on. I got you. See what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, a leader doesn't want. A lot of times, the leader don't even want to lead, but he has to because his quality is just outshining. It's showing, and the people need a good leader to help them progress and grow. Not a leader that's gonna guide them to their demise. And that's the reason why everybody can't be a leader. Some people have that aura, but they don't have the brain. Some people have the look, but they don't have the brain. Leadership is not manipulation. Manipulation comes from your personal agenda and your ability to fool him and have him do something for your own good. That's what manipulation is. That's not leadership. Leadership is, listen, everybody. We got a situation. This situation is for this reason, that, and the third. And the reason we have that situation is because of whatever the reason is. Do we all agree? Do we all agree that this is a decision that should be made? And that's a fact. Leadership is not materialistic. Hell no. I could come up here all day with polo shirts and all types of. Listen, that doesn't mean Versace that don't mean nothing. This is why I don't promote that. It don't mean nothing. Kudos to you if you're able to be flamboyant. That's cool. But does that mean that you're a leader? Are you a leader on paper? Have you been a leader on paper? Are you known throughout the system as a leader? Are you really that leader? Now, here's a little twist to the plot. So, as everybody knows, I learned to play chess in prison. And I didn't learn how to play chess with a board. I learned how to play chess by drawing a board, and another person that's like mad cells down the block, he made a board, and he makes a board, and we call out numbers. So I'll be like, yo, 26 takes 19. And he'll be like, yo, 6 goes to 21. Shout out Rick James with the $5 donation. You and KK, son, be all right, big bro. Your future's looking bright. Stay positive, big homie. I appreciate you, Rick James. Facts. So I learned how to play chess that way. Now check this out. So what I want to do is show something here, because y'all know I don't do the name stuff or none of that. So me and a certain individual got into a situation, and I hope he's sitting there watching this right now. Facts. These by example. Shout out also Boston. So a certain situation arose, right? And when a certain situation arose, in that situation already there was a problem spurring from before. So I'm gonna give you an example. Me and Kev get into a situation. Me and Kev start fighting or whatever. Which, by the way, that won't happen because I love Kev. Kev love me, and we brothers, and that's the way it goes. We might be mad at each other, but it will never go to the point where, nah. Mm-mm. Matter of fact, I've only had one dispute with Kev my whole life, and that was over someone lying. Me and that man ain't never had a dispute ever, ever since 1995, ever. But let's say, right, me and Kev are having a dispute. Now, I can't do nothing to Kev because if I do something to Kev, it's gonna fall back on me. But now I see Kev is beefing with someone else. So while Kev is beefing with that other person, I say, okay, now's my chance to get rid of Kev, to have that person do the Kev what I want to do to Kev, but I can't do the Kev because it's gonna fall back on me. So I'm gonna make sure that that person does it to Kev, and then I win without even have to dirty my hands. That's the type of world we live in, bro. It's an opportunist type of world. When you sitting there and you're looking at things, everything is strategy. But I learned to play chess without a board. I learned to survive by understanding human concept. So I know that the moves on the board are liable to change as the situation goes on. And then what happens is, I'm good. Kevin's gone. I didn't care about that other individual. I just needed him to take care of that for me. See, all these things are strategic. But I've been doing this. I've been doing this for a long time, and the reason that I'm at where I'm at now is because I've learned to use my mind. You know, a lot of people used to argue with me. My moms used to argue with me. She's like, "Yo, you were so smart, but you didn't want to go to school. You want to be outside fighting, drinking 40s and smoking blunts. But whenever you went to school and you took a test, you always hit 90s. What the hell is wrong with you?" And I used to be like, "Ma, I don't want to be in the classroom all day, man. I don't want to be in the classroom all day." But then when I was in the cell and I had no choice, I turned the cell into my classroom. And then I learned that the potential I had, I actually wasted it doing things that was not beneficial. They was momentarily beneficial towards my yearns, but they weren't futuristically beneficial towards my growth. So the one thing I always say, shout out Doc DJ Johnson. Shout out DJ Johnson. Appreciate you, bro. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of times I see things and I don't say nothing. I just play the position. Because you on that chessboard, you can't let them see. If you can't let them see, if they see you in distress, you can't let them see that. Even though you might be in distress, don't let them see it. You might get impatient. Don't let them see it. You gotta, when they play poker, they say you gotta have a poker face, right? Why you gotta have a poker face? Because if you look too happy, then they know you got a good hand. If you look unhappy, then they know you got a bad hand. So a poker face is expressionless. It doesn't reveal your situation. So now your opponent doesn't know. He doesn't understand that you know. Doesn't see what your situation is. Because you don't let him know. You make him think something else. But meanwhile, you're over strategizing his strategy. Because that's how we grow, though. Don't get me wrong. We grow that way. I grew that way. There was sometimes I thought I was slick. And I got caught out there. Nah, you ain't slick, bro. 29 takes 6. Checkmate. Because what happens is you're going to learn from those that know to only make yourself better. As you grow, your heart has less larceny. Somebody wrote in my picture on Instagram, he said, your Wildcat look like, man, if you give him the wrong drink, he blow you up. It was a picture of me from back in the days. I was only like maybe 25, 23 in that picture. You got to look at all those things. When I watch Power, I love Ghost Park. I didn't like the way it ended with Ghost, but I like Ghost Park. I like the way he thought. I already knew when he got big-headed, I was like, yeah, they about to kill him now. Because now he's not being Ghost. He's being a narcissist. He's being a braggadocio. He think it can't happen now. He's losing his killer instinct. And once you lose that killer instinct, you are your own demise. Once you lose that killer instinct, you are your own demise. And that happens to people sometimes, man. It happens to people when they get big-headed. It happens to people when they just think that they got it all. They got it made. And people start to stray away from you. They don't want to be around you no more because they see that you're so big-headed. You're such a narcissist type of person that it's only your self-goal and gain where I'm going to be assassinated at. GT Tour 956. Yes, I do got paperwork on that incident. Queen's Flip got it. He got a copy of it. I would never come up. I don't want to come up here and downgrade nobody. Like I said, I'm not into that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to do that either. All I'm going to say is that we are people. And as people, all of us have the potential to grow if we understand that there's still growth in us. From 2006 to 2012, I was out here and everybody, I was 27, 28, 29 around there. And everybody I was with was 19, 20, 21, 22. I was with them for all those years. We was doing some things. And as they grew, we grew love for each other. But I never was a big me and they was a little me. It was always us. And because I was that way, they took care of me my whole bit. It never was a big me, little you. Never was that. It was always a us thing. They say you can have a conscious regard or a conscious disregard. Either way, you consciously making a decision to regard or disregard a certain aspect. That's why when I said, if when you come home, if my man comes home, that's my man. I love him. Yo, come here. Yo, here, hold that down, bro. Get on your feet. Yo, come here. Yo, you all right, bro? Let me lead you in the right way. Let me lead you in the right path so that you can succeed. Let me get you on your feet. Let me help you get on your feet, bro. I'm your man. I love you. So I'm gonna help you get on your feet. You don't gotta ask me for nothing. If I got it, you got it. It's not somebody asking. We're talking about moral things here. As a leader, that's one of the things I teach. If you and your man did something and you got away with it and your man got stuck, when your man comes home, what you gonna say to him? Huh? That's not loyalty. That's not your man. And of course, yeah, throughout time, people's change. Kev told me that. But when he told me that, I saw a dark cloud when he said that. And I blew the dark cloud away because I didn't want to see it. JT Torah 956. I don't feel no type of way, man. Because you know what? JT Torah 956. I don't regret anything I've done, man. I don't regret anything I've done. Everything I've done was for a cause. Even if it was saving someone and they don't appreciate it later on, I don't care. I don't regret what I did. Because what I did was part of the cause of what I represent. Facts, Bed-Stuy. That's how I ended up in KK crib. And if y'all see the video, one of our first videos was when I went to KK crib. I went over there and made I made some eggs in the morning, and then later on I made some fish, and we were bugging out. And I saw Lisa again. I didn't see Lisa in so long. That shit was crazy. I didn't see Lisa in years. I was happy to see them. I was like, oh yeah, look at that. He's still there. Look at that. Ty Boogie TV, salute, bro. That's the reason why I don't regret what I do. I don't. I have no regrets towards anything I've done because everything I've done has been for a reason. I fought for a cause. I continue to fight for a cause. But now the fight is different. So what I've learned in the years that I was with my youngins running around, salute Ronald Wright Jr. Salute, I appreciate you, bro. Ronald Wright Jr., you got the name of a famous boxer. You know that? Ronald Winky Wright Jr. But yeah, I don't regret what I've done because if I pledge my life, my soul, and my body to a cause, I'm going all the way. Shout out Adam Stanley. Salute, bro. Appreciate you, bro. because you got to set an example. An example that I always try to implement. Anytime I see when I was in the Ville, I remember this young kid named Jay. He works in a barber shop on Southern Boulevard in the Bronx, Dominican. I was my little man. I used to be with him all the time. I didn't know him, never see him put in no work. I ain't never know none of that at all. But he was cool, and he was willing to learn, and he was open-minded, and that's what I liked about him. So, and you know what? I saw him again in the street, and we met up. I met his pops and all that, met his family. You know what I'm saying? And that's how it is. Free Nuke. Hey, yo, Kev, I was waiting for that one. But it was good as hell, I know that. Hey, yo, Best Eye, that's a fact. Not everyone can fall asleep on the bench in the middle of the peas in Brownsville. Not everyone can do that. That is a fact. That is such a fact, bro. But the love and the solidity was there. The loyalty was there. I was comfortable, bro. I ain't fit. I could have kicked my feet up and slept there overnight if I had to, without a worry in the world. See what I'm saying? Because I am my brother's keeper. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, I saw that, Kev. I was like, yo, why you hit him with the why you hit him with the mouse, bro? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's a fact. Listen, our whole goal. Hazardous JBX, salute, bro. Hazardous JBX, salute. You know, my goal is always to teach people how to do things the right way, not to make the errors that I made. I don't want people to end up in jail or end up dead because of me, because of things that I order or say or whatever. I'm not about that. I'm about elevation. Elevation is important in this world, bro. If we don't elevate, if we get stuck in time, if we don't think that we need to elevate to be better, progressive people in the future, we'll be stuck in time, and everything around us will elevate, and we'll be looking like we were in jail and we was out here, but we was stuck in the same zone. That's why sometimes you go to prison, you come home, the same dudes that was on the corner, they still doing the same thing. They're stuck in the zone. They don't want to elevate. And that's their own choosing. Because you can't blame your environment. You can't blame that's a fact. Black conscious bosses make boss decisions. Facts. You can't make those type of decisions and you know that they ain't right. For example, imagine if I call a bum poor, but I'm in Applebee's and I'm eating 2 meals for $20. I'm not far from where he at. I just got a special. I got more for my money. He's getting what he can because that's all he has. But I'm no different than him because I wouldn't have those 2 plates on that special if I went somewhere else. You see what I'm saying? That's why I always say, you got to be informative of not only the way the times go, but you got to be informative of how the times are. This is why, especially with the youngins, man, I never came with I had so much fun with them. I never came, I never came at them on some, you gotta do this, and I never came. We all related. We used to all be. I remember one time we went to a restaurant and we had a little food fight in there. We was bugging out. And then after that, I said, we gotta clean up this mess, man, because we wild out, but we gotta clean this mess up. And we cleaned it up. They ain't called the police or nothing. They actually was laughing. Some people had barbecue on their cheek. There was a drumstick stuck on the glass of the thing. It was hilarious. You see what I'm saying? But we all together cleaned it up. It wasn't like, you got. I was like, nah, I think we should clean this up, bro. It was like, all right, come on, man. We all cleaned it up, threw it in the garbage. They were saluting us. The dude was like, I got some extra macaroni and cheese and stuff because we're about to close, but you know what I'm saying? If y'all ain't gonna throw it, y'all can have it. You see what I'm saying? These are things that you do consciously that reflect upon the way you're looked at. Because leaders lead by example. They don't lead by order. They don't lead by, you got to do this. I'm this. He's that. There's no, he's this. He's that. I'm this. I'm that. There's none of that. It's simple. It's us. We. It's a we thing. Noah Rivera. Salute Noah Rivera. Appreciate you, Noah Rivera. Because that's what leaders do. Leaders don't make orders. Leaders create populations. Leaders create opportunity. And leaders create growth. Daddy, John Forrest. That's what leaders do. They create, and when they create, it's in the benefit of everyone, not themselves only. I could give you $10 today and tell you to buy a hat. Or I can show you how to make $10 a day and you can buy mad hats. Damn, my dog going in on that bone. You see what I'm saying? That's how a leader leads. So that's the reason why I named my segment today, The Art of Leadership. Because being a leader is also an art. It's an art of understanding not only yourself, but those around you. It's an art of having the quality to help those around you that's down. To help those around you get up. That's what a leader does. A leader doesn't send his troops to get obliterated. Because I ain't gonna lie, I remember one time I was in the Ford building and I had beef with this one dude, man. So I ate the dude in 2 Upper. And when I ate the dude in 2 Upper, I went to Mall, what was it, Mall 8? I think they sent me to Mall 8. When I went to Mall 8, he sent the word over there that I was over there. That's a fact, Kev. Leaders create paths. That's a fact. But,
oh, under Kev, what you just read.
So the dude tells his people, he's like, yo, son ain't no good. Nigga cut me, blah, 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 blah. So one of the dudes come when I'm in the bathroom. He's like, yo, you cut my man? I said, yeah, I cut your man. But let me ask you something before I cut you. You coming over here for your man. But he had the opportunity to get me back and he didn't take it. You coming over here for your man, but your man knows that when we go to trial, we got to pass that house. So he can't fight his own battles, so you got to fight his? Son looked at me, he was like, hold up. So you ate him over here? I said, yeah, I ate him in 2 Top. They packed me up, they sent me down here. I'm still in the building. So we're going to see each other again. Just the other day, I was looking at Jazzo had the thing about OGs falling from grace. And he was talking about the Rob Lowe story. Rob Lowe waited 17 years to get retaliation. But there's people that still love Rob Lowe that probably would have did it for Rob Lowe. But he didn't go and send nobody. He waited. Because why would he send somebody? He's bound to bump with the Son again. Same way Blue Boy bumped into Larry Davis again. This world goes around. It's a small world. You see what I'm saying? So you always got to look at these things, man. And that's a very important concept. And that's why I thought today it's a good thing I'm speaking upon this fact, because this is a fact that all the youths need to learn. All the youth need to learn that you can't let nobody lead you astray. You can't let nobody tell you that they're a leader and they're really not. Check the credentials. Check the credentials. See if everything is accurate. Don't go by a person's word. Anybody can say anything. Their aura might show you one thing. Their money might help you in another fact. But do you know the truth? Do you know the truth? Do you know the truth, man? But I know one thing. I'm definitely going to say right now. Oh yeah, Pat McCloskey. I gotta fix that. Let's get it. Everybody on wine, man. I know it's been an hour and some change, man. I don't want anybody getting all stiff and shit. Send it to my DM, Black Conscious. Salute, Tony Starks. On the next one. Ah. Hey, yo, matter of fact, there's 273 people up in here. I want to know where y'all from. Shout out your hood, your block, wherever you from, I want to know. Rochester in the building, salute. The Rock, that's my home right there. Rio Grande Valley, salute. Delaware, salute. Lakeside, Hawaii, salute. VA, BX, Worcester, Massachusetts, Fresno, California, Camden, Cypress Project, South Bronx, Grant Project, Chattanooga, Trenton, New Jersey, Delaware, 188 in Valentine, the PX in the building, salute. Dirty Jersey, Earth, Uptown in the Bronx, the BX, LES in the building, Connecticut in the building, Stanford, Texas Real, Grand Valley, Fayette Noon, North Carolina, Memphis, Tennessee, Woodside, Queens, Philly, all day. Shout out Philly, Red Star Gates, shout out LES, Raleigh, DC, Massachusetts, Denver, Colorado, Suffolk, Long Island, Albany, shout out Albany in the building. Hey, yes. Coney Island, West 33rd. Picking and Sutter. Brooklyn in the building. New London, Connecticut. Maryland. Lower East Side. Strong Island. VK, Flatbush. Newark, New Jersey. Shout out Newark. Utica Ave, Brooklyn. Shout out Utica. Best Style, Brooklyn. That's a fact. Wyoming. Buffalo. Shout out B-Lo in the building. Hempstead. 3 301 Day, Marion Ave, Kingsbridge, LeBron 367, New Lots, Bushwick, Rough Riders in the building. The whole New York. Shots fired.
You're gonna have to play it again. There's still people coming.
Yeah. Hold on. Hold up. There it is. Take a sip. Mexico City, LG in the building. 757 Norfolk. No Philly in the building. Marcy Projects. NYC. Ohio. We used to get it in Ohio. Camden. Wyckoff and Gowanus. Okay. Best Star, Red Star. The whole Kings County. Salute. East Side, North Side, LBC. That's a fact. West Coast. Always shout out the West Coast. Greensboro 356, Trenton, New Jersey. Gun Hill Road. Norfolk checking in. I see you. Brooklyn, Marcy Projects. That's right, BBA for life. Athens Village, Tampa, Florida. Astoria, Queens. Shout out Astoria. Clinton, Illuminati. More or less, man. Shout out Southside, Queens. Shout out Payback Crips. Shout out all my homies, all my damoos. Huh? Toronto's in the building. Salute Toronto. 173rd. Bloody Road. Shout out 1420 Grand Concourse. Shout out Soundview in the BX. Shout out East New York. Shout out Ty Guns. Bookie Low. Wildlife. Cisco from LES. Shout out my Billy's, North Carolina. East Orange. More or less, I'm up out of here, man. I just want to say thank you, everybody, for coming through. We got another good session coming up soon, man. Let's stay away from the negativity and the stuff that brings us down. And let's stay on the path to the things that keep us up. And anybody that tries to take us down, we're going to take them down first. And I'm not talking about violence. I'm talking about with our minds. Salute.